Hey everybody, Jason here for top 2019 RPGs that I've gotten physical copies of. Spots number 4 and 3. It's down to where it was getting tough for me for these to pick these because my top 3 really number 4. I'll just do number 4. Number 4 is this right here. The Symbaroum core rulebook. There's lots of videos out here on the internet and articles written, I guess, about Symbaroum, and it's like a dark fantasy role-playing game set in the forest of Davokar, and it's definitely, you can tell it's written by Europeans, which is a good thing. It's got a very European feel to it, as far as like the story and the setting. The setting seems to be very limited in scope, though. So that can turn. I've seen that actually has turned a number of people off from it, and basically the huge forest of Davokar, excuse me, is kind of a character in itself. And a big focus of the game is searching the forest and the ruins of previous civilizations in the forest, and things like that. A little bit of political intrigue, a little bit of dungeon crawling, things like that. It's got, some typical, there's no classes really per se in the game, but you can create like your own class based on some ideas and concepts and things like that. But it's a D20 based game, very OSR in its mechanics, as far as like the simplicity of them. So there's no skill system. It's just roll into your stat, which is very OSR. And like I said, there's no classes, but you kind of create your own class as you go, because you can pick what abilities you want and which skill or ability trees you want to go down and get different powers and things like that. I shouldn't say trees, because each ability or power doesn't really have a tree per se, but it has upgrades, like a level 2 version, a level 3 version of an ability. So it's not really a tree, I guess. You can kind of create your own tree if you think about it that way, as far as like a powers or skill tree. But it's just abilities with the different levels and stuff. And there's spells, and there's corruption as part of the mechanics and things like that. But there are other better videos than this one to tell you about Symbaroum. It just happens to be number 4 on my list because I've had a lot of fun reading this book. This is a well-written book. It's very fun. Actually, I've got the 3rd printing of the book, and I think they're up to like the 4th or 5th printing, which just adds in some errata and clarifies things like that. It's not new editions of the book. It's just printings. But I've got a little page here that's got some errata on it printed out. That's from their website, little PDF and stuff. But go check out Symbaroum. It's a great little book. Not super expensive. I think it was like $40 or so, something like that. It's got a ribbon in it, like a page ribbon. And so there's the book with the World Symbaroum, the Player's Guide, the Game Master's Guide, and an adventure called The Promised Land. And then there's other things in it, in the series, I guess. I got a map pack and a couple other source books. It's cool because the adventure path that they have, I want to say is 6 or 7 books long, and each one is a real beautiful hardcover. And half of it is like a source book for the land that takes place in, and half of it is the actual adventure. So it's really cool. They got a lot of really cool stuff. Symbaroum. Number 3 on my list here, and this was tough. Number 3 on my list was a toss-up. I didn't know if it was going to end up number 3 or number 2. And the only reason it ended up number 3 is because what I have in my number 2 spot is probably going to get played before this one. Maybe not more than this one, but played probably before. And that is my box set for The Blackest of Deaths over at Bloat Games. And I talked about this before on my other videos. I'll take one of the books out. Here's my this is the meat grinder version of the game. It's just dark. It's very dark. It's very brutal. It really, as a person, as a just who I am, not necessarily as a gamer, but as a person, it fits. The tone of it fits who I am as a person, the type of music I listen to, the type of movies I like to watch. It's really dark. It's very brutal. It's like a heavy metal album in role-playing game form, really. It's like a mixture of the tone that I personally get from it is like sort of like a Conan-ish, like a dark version of Conan, I guess. I know Conan, it's by its nature, is kind of brutal, but this is like a dark version of that type of like Hyperborean world, where you never know what's going to happen. Any fight could be your last. But it's got also some traditional stuff like kobolds and elves and goblins and dwarves and things like that. And it's a class-based system, but no levels. There's no levels. You don't raise levels in this. Well, never mind. I'll keep that a secret. You don't raise levels in this, but you do have a class. You get all your class abilities from first level. If they save your life, those abilities save your life. If they don't, they don't. You should have played your character smarter. It's an unforgiving game. It's so well written. You could tell Eric really, really poured a lot of emotion into this book because it's so well written. And I think this is something that he's been wanting to touch on for a long time. It's OSR, it's dark, it's pretty much everything I need in a basic style D&D game. But again, I've got other videos on my channel about this book. Eric's got some videos on this book. There's other videos out on this book. This is a great book. This is my number 3 book of the year, of things that I've gotten physical copies of. And it very easily could have been number 2. It was really just a toss-up. But Blackest of Deaths, go check it out. If you haven't checked it out, you're really doing yourself a disservice. And Symbaroum, check it out. This is a little cheaper to get. Obviously, this is a print on demand from Drive-Thru RPG, and worth every penny. Symbaroum, also great and fantastic. If you can afford them both, get them both. But yeah, that's my number 3 and number 4 videos, 2019 RPGs. So thanks for watching, and I'll be back hopefully soon with numbers 2 and 1. So we'll see ya. Peace.